Welcome back to Angry Badger Minis. We have completed the Ravenwing army, and we are now starting on the Deathwing and Dark Angels. They will be coming out of the Dark Vengeance box sets. I had 4. Wait a minute, let me think about that. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4. At least 4 sets. I'm leaning towards 5, but I don't remember. It's not going to matter anyway. But we've got that, and we also have 2 of these Deathwing command squads. I can't tell you where I got this one in particular, but it was cut off here. The UPC was cut off, and I was given. Well, I say given. I bought this. I'm gonna tell you, I probably got this box set for like $7. The store based. This was a few years ago, or actually, I think this might have been. Yeah, this was over 5 years ago. The store was basically just trying to get out of the hobby, or get out of the stuff and unload. And I just happened to walk in at the right time because I got this as well as some other ones that you guys will see down the road as we put other things together. But yeah, I'd actually never seen that before. So what I think we're gonna do, I don't know for certain, is I think we will most likely see if there's a way that we can magnetize these guys in such a way that we can do, both the Deathwing Knights as well as the Deathwing Terminators. Now, I mean, it's not like we're going to be short on Terminators. I mean, as you can see, we've already got 5 here from the Vengeance set, and then we've got these guys. The difference being is these guys are more push fit versus this one right here. But anyway, we're starting that journey. We're going to knock out this Dark Angels army as a whole, and then there won't be anything left to really put together. Well, I say that because it's not just going to be, all troops and Ravenwing. I'm probably going to, get a couple drop pods. It's not like I don't have some to spare. And I'm not saying that as a bragging point. I'm just trying to think ahead, for tactics and whatnot. So we're going to get started with the First Legion, and I'm actually not going to start on these tonight. I'm going to start on the Dark Vengeance box sets. We can go ahead and get those cut. So also, if you're checking out the channel, the last 2 videos I posted, the Ravenwing complete and or completion, and the my test run of gameplay with Dawn of War. YouTube's taking its time. I mean, that Ravenwing completion video, it was only 4 minutes and something long, and it's been trying to process HD all day. So I don't know what that's all about, but there's nothing I can do about it. So but hopefully you'll come back and enjoy it if you've already watched it as the standard definition. And if you guys also take a look, I'm proud to say that I have this bad boy right here. It took a long time to come from California. I wrote McFarlane and tried to ask them, see if they'd try to re-release this, but they pretty much told me that's not going to happen. So I paid double what you would pay for this, but it was worth every penny, and I'll be able to paint this guy whenever I get around to doing that. I also, if you go to the McFarlane site, they've also, I think they get released in April. You can pre-order a Sister of Battle and another Primaris. I think he's the Intercessor. I'm not real big on the. I'm sorry, not Intercessor. Hellblaster. That's it. I'm not real big on the whole Primaris just yet. They're gonna. I think I've said this before. They're gonna be their own army, but not as quote Primaris. I mean, they can be, or they'll also serve as true scale Space Marines. Because they really are good models. I mean, they look fantastic. I'm just not ready to give up my firstborn legacy models, and I'm just definitely not. I really hope Games Workshop does, you know, the firstborn justice and doesn't let them just fall to the wayside. I mean, I know they got to make money. I get it, you know, and of course the sculpts are a heck of a lot better than, you know, as some of you would say, squatters or whatever. But also we're trying this top-down approach. If you saw how this was rigged, you would probably freak out, but it's, as I'm looking at it, looks pretty decent. Also, I found some other settings inside the OBS Droid program, or DroidCam OBS, so hopefully this is going to work out a lot better for you guys to see what I'm doing, and my hands aren't blocking, you know, in the way of what it is that I'm doing. So let's get started. I'm going to grab this box set real quick. And again, this is the Warhammer 40,000 Dark Vengeance box set, and I believe this was 8th edition. I could be wrong. And the only thing that's missing out of these would be the bikes, because I just used them to put them together. So what we're going to do is we're going to be, you know, only cutting off the Dark Angels and the Terminator stuff, and we're going to leave all of the Chaos stuff. And if you'd like to tell me what you think would be a good idea as far as which Chaos warband I should go with in the comments below, I'd really appreciate that. And if you like the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. But I'm trying to, you know, I know that these were supposed to be the Crimson, oh gosh, I forgot what they're called now. But anyway, I know there's also enough, you know, of certain models in here that I could, you know, turn them into multiple war bands. I'm leaning towards Chaos Undivided, you know, the Black Legion, because I do have the Abaddon model. I'm just not completely sure yet. I have a ton of Hellbrutes, and not just because of the box set. I actually bought some extras a while ago. But let's see what that looks like. Let's see. Just trying to make sure we're not missing any Space Marine stuff. That guy looks like a Chaos guy. Yes, okay. Alright. I guess worst case is we'll find out, you know, when we don't have pieces, right? Alright, so shouldn't be anything here but Chaos. There's a Terminator. So this should not take too long. And of course we're going to have, you know, multiple captains and things like that, but it shouldn't be a big deal. And this is not the only box. There's another box over here that's full of. Let me set this down for a second. Yeah. So, like I said, here's a whole nother box. This is the Chaplain, I believe. Yeah, that's the limited edition Chaplain. I think I have 4 of him. Yep, here's another one. This is one of the extra Hellbrutes that I bought. Call this an unboxing video too if you want now. There's some more Dark Angels. Also, when I finish my projects, like I finished the Ravenwing, one of the things that I do is I clean up my entire area to include, you know, this area that I'm working on right now. The reason being is, you know, I've got a little one and stuff like that, and you never know when you have to step away. I'm not down in the game room currently, you know, so I've got to watch on that kind of stuff. So like I said, we may change environments, you know, as things get better. We get more experienced in YouTube, and, you know, go from there. So let's see here. For some reason, I think this was all, other than the Cultists, this was all, yeah, this was all Space Marine, Chaos, I'm sorry, Dark Angel Space Marines. Alright, cool. So we've got 2 boxes already kind of set aside. We can get ourselves a little more organized here. Oh yeah, we also have, I think we have librarians too, like 4 librarians or something. And what I plan on doing is, I have my own chapter. I don't want to spoil it, but I do have my own chapter. And they are Dark Angels of a sort. I have had them storyline and everything basically written for, oh my gosh, I don't know, like, gotta be since 2000 at least, maybe 1999. And off and on I've painted them, you know, to figure out, you know, what I wanted, but I never settled on a color scheme, so there's not an actual army per se. I did have an actual Dark Angels army of the, you know, the Dark Angels green, but what I ended up doing was I ended up giving that to somebody, and in retrospect, I probably could have maybe had some better judgment in who I gave it to, because it was not appreciated and it was very well painted, but it is what it is, and that was a long time ago. So be careful who you give your minis to. And when I say not appreciated, like, it disappeared. They may have sold it. I don't know. I mean, it was theirs. They could do it what they want. So, all right. I'm also gonna kind of keep this box for reference because I have absolutely no idea what's even in this thing. Looks like mostly cultists though, as I'm looking at this. But yeah, so we've got the librarian Termiel, or Termiel. We've got Chaos Lord. We've got a sergeant. We've got some kind of captain. And on this box somewhere, yeah, here it is. I was gonna say, on this box, it's probably all backwards. The exclusive interrogator chaplain, Seraphicus. Sorry, I'm trying to get it in the picture. But anyway, so it'll help out. And I mean, some of these models, you know, you could probably, I don't know, maybe you can, you know, scrape off some of the, you know, some of the icons or something like that and use them for something else. But anyway, we're gonna get started here, and we're also saving all of the sprue if you were not aware of that. My plan is, and I've already bought the things that I need, my plan is to melt the sprue down in acetone and turn it into, I mean, I gotta cut it all up, it's gonna take some time, but you know, turn it into flat panels, you know, that I can, you know, cut up and everything, and either use it for orc stuff or terrain, or I mean, who knows. I mean, I'll tell you, it's been so long since I've been this involved, you know, with putting together the stuff, you know, kit bashing and everything. I mean, I'm excited, and it's definitely motivating to see that entire Ravenwing army, you know, finally after all this time put together. Now, one thing I am doing, because I have purchased them, is obviously I can use the normal 25mm bases, but I'm not going to do that. I bought the appropriate 32mm bases, so you're going to watch me and you're going to see me. I'm going to cut these little things off, you know, because they're not going to fit in there, but that's okay, you know. I have no idea who I might be playing if I ever get a chance to play again, and I mean, I fully intend to. And you know, the last thing, it's not that I worry about what they think, but the last thing I want to do is, you know, have somebody walk away from a game because I didn't have to put them on the models and they lost, you know, whatever they perceived in range. I don't worry about that crap. I mean, if you're close, you know, whatever. I'm not out to, you know, to win at all costs. So I'm out here to have fun. I want to play narrative games, you know, which I may be stuck doing that on my own, but it doesn't matter. And remember what I said in a previous video is when you're going to do stuff like this, basically I'm going to be doing this as a batch, just like we did with the bikes and everything else. If you notice, almost all of my movements are to cut what's, you know, how the clippers are already in my hand. So I also wonder if maybe the way that this camera is set up and the light and everything else that I've done, if it's not more clear to you, and if it is, please let me know, because I mean, I want to know that we're on the right path here to making great videos. I mean, I've got a long way to go and a lot of stuff to learn, but that's okay. I just like getting right into it, and you know, who knows, maybe we'll do something really awesome with this channel. I am very pleased to see, however, that these Marines, they have this little icon on them, you know, for the tactical part, and I'm also pleased to see that technically I don't have to put these shoulder pads on if I didn't want to. This is where my brain gets ahead of me, and it's not a good thing. What I mean is I can start going, ooh, maybe I can use these Marines for somebody else, and then I get distracted and I go from there. But right now, as it looks, I think we're on the right path, and I'm just gonna roll with it. They've got a little bit of, you know, I mean, yeah, they're push fit, but I mean, let's think about it. You know, am I really gonna be caring about that when I'm playing the game? No. And you know, these particular what Mark armor is this? Is Mark 4? I don't know, but anyway, this particular set of Marines, I mean, they are this armor. I mean, even the squatters, as you guys say, you know, they're pretty limited as well in their own, you know, poses once you get them in there. I mean, you can do stuff, but you know, and like I said, I like to buy in bulk. I mean, my gosh, this is, I guess there's, you know, in some ways I thought, well, you know, whatever, but maybe as I'm getting older, you know, those things just don't seem to matter anymore. So move all this to the side. Any sprue stuff we got, we'll just leave that over there. That way I can find it later. And also, if this pad is in the way of seeing what it is that I'm doing, please let me know. But I am trying to sort of protect my desk after I've literally obliterated this poor thing. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna wait on those chaplains. Leave them over there. Let's get back to some other stuff here. All right, what do we got? We got a sergeant. Hold on. Oh, this is all Space Marine. Outstanding. All right. Don't have to worry about not clipping what we need. We'll just clip it all. Make things a lot easier. We got a plasma cannon. I was not aware of that. Nice. I like, that's one of my favorite weapons in 40K. Always has been. Although the new plasma cannon like this one doesn't have all the crazy wires like it used to have. I don't think. Oh yeah, it does. Just not the way it used to be. I've got an old plasma cannon. Well, I've probably got a few that need to be put back together or whatever. I stripped a lot of models, and not that I regret it at all, but there's probably a point of why. You know, once you got them painted and stuff. But I fall into the same trap that you hear a lot of YouTubers talk about. You know, as your painting skill grows or you develop a different technique, you know, you want everything to look a certain way, and unfortunately that's just how I am. Now these Terminators have a little pegs or whatever on their foot, at least one. I'm not going to cut that off at the moment, but I may. These other guys up here, they all have the peg, and I have consolidated all of my bases. That's part of why I'm doing all this, is to consolidate everything that I have and make sure that, you know, I know what I have as I move forward. Just is what it is. But if that Dawn of War thing works out, I'm actually pretty excited about that. I mean, I like that game, and I'm hoping that the Apocalypse mod will work out as far as my being able to record it. I'm more of a turtle. I'm not, I mean, once I get what I need, I've got, some strategies and stuff, but I haven't played it in so long. It's you guys, you might be like, oh man, this dude sucks. Well, you might be right. If I had to go up against somebody who played all the time, RPGs, and I'm sorry, RTS and stuff like that, you're probably right. But I mean, I have a good time with it. It puts me, in the fray of the lore, and it's a good time. So, and I'm hoping that not only will that work, but the Dawn of War 2 stuff as well. What it boils down to is I don't have the greatest computer right now to run all of this stuff at one time. So I pretty much have to, if I'm gonna play, I'm gonna have, for you guys, I'm gonna have to play in a very small window for me to be able to record it. And I mean, I do have a decent laptop that's sitting right here next to me, but the lack of plug space and things like that, to go back and forth, it's just not worth it. At least not right now. And I mean, I don't even know what you guys want to see, to be honest with you. Ooh, that does not look like... That is definitely chaos. I don't know how that snuck in there. Okay, no problem. We'll just cut him off and throw him in the box. So what is that? Yeah, it's chaos helmet. I don't know, maybe somebody's wearing a chaos helmet? I think so. I mean, like wearing it as a trophy? See it. I think this is actually potentially somebody's actual head for their body. I don't know. I have the instructions around too. Probably should have this at least for the first run, huh? Okay, so you new people, when you have a flat blade like this, see if you can see that, this flat blade, you got to be really careful, because if you cut the wrong way, like you might be tempted to just cut, and grab. If you do that, you're going to tear a hole in the blade. You got to cut in line with the blade, just straight in line with it. And I mean, of course I know this because I've done it in the past. Now see, that almost got me. This little targeting thing on top of this Terminator, I almost cut it off because I had the sprue turned the wrong way and it looked like part of the sprue to me. But for a second there, thankfully I slowed down. Also, when you guys take a look at those land speeders in the Ravenwing video, I do have the parts to make land speeder storms. I'm going to magnetize that stuff, as well as putting the weapons on. The weapons are already assembled. They're just in little little plastic bags. And once I get around to actually wanting to paint everything, that's when I'll do some of that stuff. But for all intents and purposes, everything is done, and I have a ton of those missile launcher pods. So I mean a ton. So it's not likely I will use that many. So I may be able to use some of them and turn them into like terrain, like a scatter terrain type bunker type thing. I mean, who knows? You never can tell about these things. I keep thinking about, as I'm going through all this stuff, some of the battles that I played, back when I first got started. And hold on one second. But we used to play on some pretty big, pretty big tables, 8 foot wide by 16 foot long. And I'd like to redo some of those battles someday. Now that we have better terrain and things like that, they were really fun. Of course, in that particular battle that I'm thinking of, we made the rule, or voted on, if you will, because we had a kind of a committee type thing, if you will, or a club, 40 people, I believe, where we said if you could find the rule, no matter what edition it was, if you could find the actual rules, you could play with that model. And of course, you could say, oh man, that's unbalanced as hell. It was all about the fun of it. It wasn't really, there was no, this wasn't the Vegas Nova, or I'm sorry, Nova in Vegas. It was it was for fun. And it was 4 days straight, no sleep. You could not go to sleep. You couldn't even leave the room, except to go to the bathroom, and I think the time limit was like 5 minutes. All the food was delivered. It was a general's challenge is what it was. And of course I remember that battle because I won, and I won with Imperial Guard. There were a couple of guys that unfortunately got knocked out right early. I mean early in the game, and since their wives had dropped them off, they had to wait. They had to wait that whole time and just basically watch the battle. But they got involved, helping with some of the rules and stuff like that. Some of these guys have been playing, since 2nd edition, and the rest of us didn't know anything about that. So it did help. What is that thing? It's got to be some kind of chaos thing. It's a tiny little piece. Man, if you weren't paying attention, you'd have missed that. What that is? One of those bullets. Bullet casings, maybe? I don't know, man. What I'm talking about is this thing right here. It looks like bullets to me, but it's in the shape of something. And I'm looking at the picture, but I don't see anything on anybody. Who knows? We'll clip it off, and it looks like it might go on top of somebody's. Yeah, I don't know. Put it in a box. Get to it later. Ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Let's see here. Some of these sprues, they're very awkward. They're not flat, so it makes getting to this stuff kind of awkward. I wonder if that's because they were trying to somehow thwart recasters or something, maybe. I'm not sure the juice was worth the squeeze on that one, but it's none of my business. No doubt I'm gonna have more Dark Angels that won't be push fit put into this thing, into this army, because I'm looking at this right now, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a 10-man squad, and that's it in each box. That's not a lot of Marines. So, and I've got a ton of extra parts, to make guys Dark Angels, at least backpacks and things like that. So if they don't go into this army, they'll go into my other army that I almost just told you what they were. How about that? Almost compromised myself. Yeah, it's definitely chaos, because here's a chaos cultist head of some kind. Weird looking dude. Alright, so we'll just have to keep an eye out for that stuff. And unlike with the Raven Wing and all that kind of stuff, I am going to clip everything off that I can here, because I don't want to have to go back and redo this. And we're like I said, we're keeping the sprues so we can turn around and use them later. I've also got boxes over to the side that you can't see at the moment that are here solely for the purpose of consolidating all of this stuff. Because I mean it's 9:53 at night tonight, and I was going to give myself a break, and again we are 2 days ahead of schedule on the Ravenwing army. I was expecting to be done with it initially tomorrow night, but I finished last night with the 5 land speeders, and I mean then I just kind of stuck around and based all the bikes for the heck of it. I need to make sure I keep these guys that still have their bases on separate. Man, these Chaos models are really nice. I've never really liked the Chaos models. I think that I've always thought that they were just horrible, except for the Plague Marines. They were pretty decent, the old ones. I've got an entire army full of those guys that are never out of the box, all metal models, you know. Not sure what I'm going to do with them because I have an entire new Plague Marine army. You know, you never want to give anything up, I guess, but I may have to, either for space or so if you're interested, I've got an entire Plague army I'm willing to sell you. Just hit me up. Chaos. I say I'm gonna remove everything. I mean, if it's, you know, mostly a, you know, a Space Marine deal, like this one's not. If it's this chaos, you know, these chaos cultists, I mean, this thing's full of them. I'm just gonna leave it as it is. But, and again, hopefully you guys are enjoying the playlist. I'm sure as I get better with YouTube, I'll make some more or make them longer. It does, you know, add to the size of the files and stuff like that, but and what that means to you is how long it's going to take for YouTube to upload the thing or whatever. I think we're coming along good here. I'm not actually listening to it. I haven't quite figured that out yet. Look at that. I almost clipped that little thing off there. Man, that's yeah, it's got to be because of the recasters. It's the only thing I can think of. I also had extra Terminators set aside for my Space Hulk game, you know, so that I could have Deathwing, you know, in the Space Hulk, and all of that was done long before the Dark Vengeance box set it was ever a thing. And you know, I mean, it is what it is. They're relatively, you know, decent poses. I mean, I would prefer, you know, something more aggressive, you know, like say with the assault cannon one. I mean, standing there with your assault cannon in the air, you aren't exactly ready, especially considering it may, or, you know, at least the way we understand it, is supposed to have time to spin up, or should have time to spin up. Now, one thing I will say that I'm not real excited about is the Beaky Marines here that I just realized are in here. But you know what? It is what it is. They're still models. I still paid for them, and we're gonna roll with it. So not too terribly concerned about that. Yeah. But I am excited about these Chaos Marines. Although I wonder if these Chaos Marines are the same size as the ones in the Blackstone Fortress game. I have that, and another game or set of models that I have not painted or completely put together. I think I put together all of the good guys because I just wanted to see what they look like, but I definitely haven't put any of the Chaos guys together. I also have the Silver Tower. Is it Silver Tower? I think it's Silver Tower. And there's another game. Oh, it's the I have two of the oh gosh, what is it? I forget what it's called now, but it's got the assassins in them, the new assassin models, and I bought it mainly for the assassin models. But that one's got some Chaos models in it, I think, and I think it's got a couple of the older style ones, which is unfortunate, but you know, it's what we got. Maybe I can make them dead Chaos models. All right, moving right along here. But I mean, you know, think about it. A Deathwing army, relatively on the cheap. You know, I mean, you may not be the most viable thing tournament-wise, but I mean, my gosh, you know, you're getting 5 Terminators, you know, in each one of these box sets. I mean, that's pretty awesome in my mind. And they still have the same stats as the other ones, right? Still got to paint them. I don't know if you guys, how this will work out, but I brought this out here just to show you some of the way that I like to paint. It may not come out very well, I'm not sure, but what I've done is you have a little bit of a zenithal highlight, but it wasn't done the way that most folks do. Yeah, this is not doing it justice. You can start to see some of the greens and different colors and stuff on there, but it's not doing it justice. You know, the purple and the white on the hold on, let me see if I can get it into focus. For some reason I just cannot seem to get this right. If you can see that purple and white, I'm not exactly sure why the autofocus isn't working at the moment. Or maybe there's just so much in here. That might be it. That it's focusing on everything else. I don't know. Well, anyway. I'll try to take some shots, whatever, put them on my Instagram. It's a really nice model. It's probably one of the better ones I've ever done with just the wet blending and stuff like that. But the difference between my wet blend versus what I've seen out there, and I'm not trying to put anybody down, but I'm really, really particular. And if I'm gonna do anything with that kind of wet blend, I don't want to see those little transitions. I just don't. And it took me a little while to figure it out, but once I did, man, I mean, that model right there came out amazing. Now he's from, if you haven't noticed or haven't realized, he's from the Space Hulk box set. He is literally the only Terminator from that box set I have painted. Now I have other Terminators that I've painted that are magnetized and everything else that, you know, we use for that, but he's the only one of those Blood Angels, and I have multiple boxes. So I plan on making, you know, like a Lamenter's set of Terminators, and although I really don't know a lot about them, I know that they intrigue me, because they're always getting their butts kicked, it seems like, or they just, you know, they're roaring so much they're just really hurting in numbers. At least that's the last thing I remember hearing. And what I'm thinking of is Terminator armor may not be something that they have a lot of, so that could make it even more desperate, you know, in the game, in my mind, because we play it kind of like an RPG. I think I've said this before, and or at least that's how I like to play it, you know, where you control one model, or if I'm playing by myself, I'll control the whole squad, and then I'll AI the freaking gene stealers or whatever that I'm going against. You know, that could be a thing, you know, where all of a sudden, you know, your guy goes down, and not only do you lose all of your experience and whatnot, but now, you know, you got to recover this stuff, you know, recover the armor. Maybe it becomes the new primary mission because, you know, they have to have that armor. And that makes me think about a point that I've been wondering too, is you've got Primaris now, and somehow or another, you know, they're bigger, they're whatever, but they either their armor isn't as good as the Space Marines. I'm sorry, is better than the Space Marines, or I don't know, man. It's weird. I mean, you know, I know they just gave Space Marines 2 wounds, which I'm really happy about. I mean, hell, we've been screaming about that, or movie style Marines, if you will, since I can remember. You know, it just never seemed right that they, you know, you read all this stuff in the fiction and they can go down, you know, so easy. I know they had a good save and all that. Okay, great. You know, but I mean, there's other facets to that, but makes me wonder if, like, a captain in Gravis armor, or Gravis armor, I think it's Gravis, is his armor better technically than Terminator armor? And if it is, you know, better than tactical dreadnought armor for a single person, what does that mean for Terminators? I mean, I get it, you know, technically they're supposed to, well, they've got, you know, the 5+ invulnerable save because of the supposed, you know, I don't want to call it force shield, but basically, you know, protection from the Emperor's armor or shard. But I mean, you know, the likelihood of every piece of Terminator armor out there having a piece of the Emperor's armor is just, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, it doesn't add up. I mean, maybe if they just scraped off some, you know, some flex, you know, off of it or something, you know. But other than that, I don't really see it. Something else you guys will see, well, kind of getting off track, but anyway, I mean, what does that mean? I mean, does it mean that the Gravis armor, you know, is, again, better than Terminator armor? You know, is Centurion armor better? You know, I mean, where do we go from here with that? Now, here's an interesting thing. That seems like the first time I have seen that piece, but I'm almost positive that I got everything off. What this piece is the front of the plasma cannon. Oh, there's the other one. Okay, so we're good. Just wanted to make sure that I cleaned it. That was, I'll tell you, that's one thing, you know, keeping track of all this stuff. Not hard, but, you know, definitely a little bit of a challenge, you know, and having to go back through sprues and everything like that. So I'm kind of enjoying this because I'm looking up at, you know, at my OBS, and I can see that you guys can see what I'm doing, and it's not just that side view. So I'm really hoping that, you know, you guys will enjoy this a lot better than, you know, like I said, as we grow. Man, plasma gun, a plasma rifle, and a plasma cannon. This is pretty stout. Oh, yeah, it's a pretty stout squad. I have not decided yet on if I'm going to paint their guns red. I don't like red, to be honest with you. I really don't like red. Crimson something. Gosh, what is it? Maybe it's on this box here. Crimson. Oh man, it's something. I don't know. I want to say Crimson Threat. That doesn't. I don't know. That doesn't make sense. Crimson Tide. Well, anyway. Yeah, I don't like red, and if I do it, I got a feeling it's gonna be subdued, and there's gonna be a little more orange in the red for, you know, wet blending or whatever than anything. I know that green and red complement each other, but I'm sorry, in my mind, the red on the gun just takes your eye away from the model, and that's, you know, or at least it does for me, and I just don't want that. Really don't. It's interesting that I'm back to Dark Angels. It really is. And that was, I mean, they were one of my first long before I even knew anything about, you know, the Horus Heresy. I mean, like, you know, from the books here, Horus Heresy and things like that. I guess being the first, and Lionel Johnson's, you know, adventures on Caliban, you know. But that's another thing that doesn't necessarily add up. You know, he fought chaos. Okay, so you got all this, you know, double speak about, you know, the average person, you know, and even the Primarchs didn't know what chaos was. Well, I mean, if that's the case, then what the hell are we even talking about? You know what I mean? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Alright, so what I got here is 3 pieces of chaos stuff, so throw that in the box. And check the sprue real quick. Looks like we're good to go. Okay. Moving on. Ooh, this one is definitely full of Space Marine. Oh, it's just like the last one we did. Plasma cannon. Yeah, I think this is a lot better with the top down. Like I said, I don't know, man. If you saw how my phone right now is suspended above the void here, you'd be like, oh my gosh. But it's what I got. I did order a new tripod today, one that's kind of flexible and can, I guess, kind of lends itself to grabbing around stuff or whatever. But and it comes with what I hope to be a better mount for, you know, for holding the phone or the camera. I have a big protective case on my phone, and it's making it a little hard for the current clamp to hold on to it. It can't get around the whole thing, so right now it's being held by tension, and we'll know if it fails because it's gonna fall right here. But I think as long as nothing major happens with shaking, whatever, we should be fine. Doesn't look like it's moved at all, actually, so that's good. And I also have it essentially not. I mean, if the desk moves, you know, it can move the camera slightly, but it's not overly, you know, like just bad all around. Let's see here. But essentially what I have is I have my mic stand, and in the process of my mic stand, just making sure I didn't throw any Terminator parts in there, I have woven the legs of the tripod into the mic stand, in a way that it's holding the phone. And that's about it. You know, one thing about these Marines that I've noticed is they're standing up a lot straighter, and I like that. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good to go. You know what? Shoot. God, I hope I didn't do that. I just noticed that I realized that I went through that whole deal there. So it's the Sergeant. Okay. And I did not see this one right here that has that little piece on the top, but we didn't miss it, so that's good. Didn't miss it. Get over there. All right, because I have one on this sprue here. Something iconic about the assault cannon with the Terminators, at least for me it is. But depending on what chapter, I'll say it is, because I know me, I love the Salamanders and everything about a heavy flamer and storm shield thunderhammer appeals to me with those guys. So there's that plasma cannon piece. Gotta be careful there. And you know, it's late here, like 10:15, so I mean, I'm not, you know, on a Tuesday, so I'm not really expecting anybody to actually, you know, show up on the chat or anything, but you'll be able to watch this later and, you know that I'm talking to you. So, and hopefully you're, again, enjoying the same journey that I'm on. It sure is nice, you know, seeing these models getting put together, that's for sure. And you know, the progress that I'm trying to make on YouTube with adjusting my setup. Cut off that chaos head there. There's another one. Does make me wonder. I need to go back and look at this again because I might have missed that one. No, guess not. Yeah, I plan on, you know, when I cut these sprues up, I plan on like watching a movie or something like that, you know, to get through it. But it's gonna be awesome. I've done it before. Back when I had an 8-foot by 16-foot table of my own, that was just mine. What was I gonna say? To make rubble, I cut up all the sprue, and then, or I cut sprue in lengths, and then I turned around and I put it in a meat grinder that I bought, and it was challenging to do it, but it really chopped it up, and more importantly, the effect I wanted was that it twisted the sprue. You know, it didn't chop it up into little fine, you know, bits or anything like that, but it definitely worked out. I actually still have that thing somewhere. At least I think I do. But that's not my intent. My intent's to, you know, turn around, cut it up, and then stick it in a jar of acetone and let it sit for a day or so. And then pull it out, start rolling it, start cutting sheets, and whatever's left, throw it back in there, let it get softened up, and go from there. And I'm trying to remember the guy's name on YouTube that I saw that from. I can't remember off the top of my head, but anyway, if I ever figure it out, I'll let him know. I mean, I know he's not the only one that does it, but, and I know that, you know, some people are just like, what the heck, man, am I going through all that work and effort? Well, you know, each to their own. But I mean, it's, if you have the capability, you know, and the time, you know, it could be a huge money saver. You know, depending on what your project is. I mean, I want to loot out that Bane blade. One of the things that I want to do is, you know, I mean, I know exactly how I'm going to loot it out, but I've got to buy another orc truck to do it. But that's not going to be enough. I'm still going to need, you know, panels. So that's part of the, you know, the reason. And I mean, I'm going to want to build, you know, orc scatter terrain. And, you know, eventually I am going to make my own Gargant. I mean, I don't think Forge World's going to make one anytime soon. And to be completely honest with you, I don't know that they could make it in such a way that it would appeal to me to want to spend that kind of money on it. I mean, maybe, you know, but if I can make my own Gargant, why not, right? And I mean, we've got a perfect template with the Stampa. You know, I mean, I actually thought about finding a way to possibly even buy 2 Stampas and then figure out a way to put them together to both of them, and then, you know, use the plates and whatnot to, you know, shore up or hide all of the gaps and whatnot. You know, but honestly, if I was going to do it, I would probably, well, I mean, Stampa's typically shorter than an Imperial Titan. So I guess you could, I mean, not a Stampa, a Gargant, sorry. I guess you could get away with the height, but I feel like in my mind, because of the fiction I read and, you know, and how I, you know, want to perceive it on the battlefield, that it should be taller. So maybe, you know, I use three Stampas, you know what I mean? Basically put, you know, if you think about it, you know, 2 next to each other and then 1 on top in kind of a pyramid shape. I think it could be done, and I think it would work out and look pretty decent. But yeah. Oof, I almost cut off that sensor thing or targeting device on that guy's head. Jeez. Well, anyway, we're rolling up on an hour here, and I just wanted to test this out, see what you guys think, and let you know what we're working on, see how we start out, because I noticed that in some of this, some of the other videos, I did not, I don't think I did any of this work, or maybe I did some of it, but not enough to show you, you know, what I had to do. But I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream, and I really appreciate you guys watching and, again, joining me on this journey, okay? And we'll see you next time.